Evening people, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we've got round 3 of CHewitt Racing Mini Cooper Cup hosted by NextGen. So we're from Lago Maggiore or Autdrome, Lago Maggiore Centre 2. So it's a short little course. A few little kinks and a bit of a hairpin either end. We'll come to that in a minute. We'll just flick through to straight into scores. So leading at the minute after a good race at Suzuka last week, we've got NGR Cutler. He's out on 56 points. Potomac Pot pretty close behind on 52. Ollie O'Neill, newly promoted from Pro-Ams last season, on 41 points. His dad on 36 points just behind him. 1 point back from Simon O'Neill is Pav 46 on 35 points. Scarwall's on 33 points in 6th. Big Z in 7th with 33 points as well. So joint 6 really. 25 points for Carter Boy in 8th. ADG 9th with 21 points. Burnt Fry in 10th with 17 points. And we just flick through to the last 3 drivers. We've got Weiss on 14 points. Prosser on 8 points. And Conrad Racing on 7. So let's get ourselves on track. Why can't I hear anything? Where's my pack gone? Okay. My sound's gone. I don't know why my sound's gone. 1 second. Let's see if I can just sort that out. Hold on. No, why have I lost all my sound? 1 second, people. Ah, there it is. Okay. So we've got 2 races. We've got 15 minutes of qualifying for you lot. Into the first race of 15 minutes, medium tyres only for that one. They can only qualify on mediums as well. And then we jump into race 2, which is half an hour. Reverse grid, fuel and tyre where we'll be on. So check out those settings when they come up. But it is the short little course you can see in the centre of your screen there. So great big hairpin one end, into a bit of a wiggle down the middle. The big left-hander into a hairpin, right-hander back onto the start-finish straight. We will get ourselves on track. Go and see what's going on. Like I say, 15 minutes of quali. ADG Phil, sorry, wrong. Right, so it's going to be quick times today due to the short nature of this track. So AD already putting in a sub 1 minute time on his out lap. Potter saying he's frozen somehow. Not sure if he's stuck in the pits. Chocolate Cozzy, evening mate, how you doing? Good to have you on board. ADG exploring those track limits through that little squiggly centre section. So let's, being as ADG's first man out on track, we'll jump on board, go for a bit of a rip round with ADG. So through that last turn then, down this start finish straight, full power down here. Slowly drifting out right as you come to the end of the pit wall. You've got to be careful of cars exiting. much of that right hand side as possible, swinging it over to the left, cutting the apex off. I say great big hairpin at one end of the track, back on the power again, down towards this squiggly section. Should be absolutely full tilt through here. ADG, see how much of this curve he takes. All of it. He takes all of that curve. So back over to the right to this great big left-hander again, all over that sausage curve there. You can see how much it lifts that Mini up. Hard on the brakes then into this final hairpin. Again, great big sausage curve on that one. You might see one or two drivers cut this corner here as well. Possibly run it out wide into pit wall. Saw a bit of that myself Friday in the GTTCC. It's not a pretty thing to do. So ADG actually putting in fastest lap at the minute. What's he got? A 51.1 for ADG. Neil's second then, 51.4. So managing to shave all sorts of time off their outlaps. Simon O'Neill on a 51.9. Conrad on a 52.6. Scar Wars on a 50. What's his fastest? 53.2. Looks like he's picked up a penalty on all those laps. They've not counted at least. Cutler still on his outlap. Bigsy will still be on his outlap too, as is Potter McPott. Have 46 at the back of the minute. ADG off track. 51.1 at the minute. Sitting on pole position. Not sure what's going on with ADG. Back on track now though. So father and son duo. This being the son, Ollie O'Neill. Simon O'Neill, his father, is getting a bit of a toe off at the minute. Father sounds a bit like Victorian, doesn't it? It's his dad. Watch it, don't put dad off, he won't be happy. He'll be straight to bed, no supper for you. See, Victorian again, look. He's going all old school. Cutler's put himself up into third though, 51.5. He's broken up those family ties. Still in third after that lap. So Simon in fourth. Potter McPott's just put a stormer in though. He's on a 51.1. So takes that P1 position. ADG second. Ollie O'Neill third. Cutler in fourth. Simon O'Neill in fifth. Scarwall sixth. Conrad Racing 7th. Bigsy in 9th now. Random Jake, I can't receive your party invitation. Please stop sending them. Thanks. Bigsy in 10th now. And Weiss in 11th. No hot lap for Weiss at the minute. Pav's put a stormer in. 51.0 for Pav. So only 5.5 minutes into quali. Plenty of time left for the lads to try and beat that. There's only so much time you can shave off such a short course. He says as Pav sticks in a purple sector. So time is going to be lost at the back end of this course. Obviously the hairpin at the beginning and the start-finish straight will come into play. We'll get around that cleanly. And it's full tilt pretty much all the way up and all the way down. It's just this last little section. Sorry, they were at the wrong end of the track. I was looking at the track map and not Pav was on the track. So yeah, through that little hairpin, as long as you get that right, it's going to be very equal. It's going to be this last sector. Once you come out of the squiggles. So here, hard on the brakes through this left-hander. Towards the hairpin, Pav sticking two wheels on the grass. He's chucking his Mini in there. See what sort of lap time he puts in. He didn't have purples. So it goes even quicker, 50.8. Pav's found the lines. of a second, almost 0.3 of a second quicker than Potomac Pot currently. ADG now third. He says as Ollie O'Neill puts in a 51.1, takes second place. NGR Cutler's just taken that straight off him with a 51.1 dead. Potomac Pot comes straight back at him though, a 50.877, closing in on Pav's time. Pushed down into fourth, ADG pushed into fifth, Scarwell's down in sixth, or sorry, up into sixth. He's managed to jump. Simon O'Neill pushes himself into fifth. Bixie sixth, Simon O'Neill seventh. Carter Boy in eighth. Conrad in ninth, and Weiss in 10th. I think we've just lost a driver. I'm sure we had 11 in the lobby earlier. Weiss is putting in 52s at the minute. Slightly quicker, 51.8, still in 10th though at the minute. Just over halfway through quali. So yeah, no tyre wear or fuel depletion during quali or race 1. It will come into effect in race 2. So Pav currently holds the lead then, 50.8. I say the lead, pole position. Potomac Pot though, just hanging himself out of the way, letting Scarwalls come through. So it won't be a quick one from Potter, but he's currently in second with a 50.877. Behind Pav, Ollie O'Neill in third, then 51.9. Scarwell's up into fourth now, 51.1. ADG fifth, ghosting out a little bit, 51.1 on lap 2. Bixie sixth, 51.4. Simon O'Neill now seventh. Going for a driftertron in the mini and a bit of off-roading to boot, 51.447 for Simon. Boy in 8th on a 51.6. Conrad 9th on a 51.7. Cutler now back at the 10th spot. He's left the room and come back. So he's through the first sector, which I nearly didn't do Friday night and lost my second place in qualifying. I was nearly upset, but that's exactly what Cutler's done. So he's just gone from 10th to 3rd because his time from his previous stint in the lobby still stands. He just has to get through the first sector for it to actually register. So 59 on his out lap. He's got 5 minutes just under. Pav still holding that P1. Pot stood out trying to beat that. Third, then Ollie O'Neill fourth, Scarwalls now fifth, with Cutler coming back into the lobby. ADG sixth, Bixie seventh, Simon O'Neill now eighth, Carter Boy ninth, Conrad 10th, and Weiss. So it must have been Cutler we lost in the lobby. I knew there was 11 people in this lobby. Unfortunately, that pushes Weiss down from 10th to 11th. 109.5 on his out lap. So Pav looks like he's quite content with that lap 4, 50.8. Or is he going to give it a bit of a blast at the end of this qualifying session now? So we've got about 3.5 minutes left. Looks like Pav is going to try and stick in another couple of fast ones. Pot's going for his 1 or 2 little sneaky starts, I think. There we go. Get those dialed in before race starts. Ollie O'Neill testing the drift capabilities of that front wheel drive Mini Here we go, all the way through that turn. He's not doing a bad job, to be perfectly honest. He's pushed himself up into third with his Driftertronics, 51.0 for his fastest lap. That takes Cutler out of that third position on the grid, puts him into fourth. Everyone else down at a spot or two. So moves up into seventh now. Bigsy in the pits. Carter 9th, Conrad still 10th, and Weiss still 11th. So Weiss, his previous stint in the lobby was all 52s, I think. Wasn't able to better though. Oh no, I think he did get to the 51s. So 52.6 on that one. Tanto Racing Group, have a good race everyone, enjoying watching it. Thank you. 2 races, don't forget there's 2 races, so don't just disappear after race 1. Weiss back in the pits now then. What's Pav got? 51.0 for Pav, so still that lap 4 is the one to beat. Not able to shave any more time off that currently. He's got a minute and a half left to do it. So Ollie O'Neill then in the slipstream of Simon O'Neill. Purple sectors. Can he stick himself a cheeky end of qualifying? Fastest lap. Oh, he's gone deep into the last hairpin. So we still get a toe off Dad down here. What does he put in? Oh, not quite, 51.2. So that last hairpin just compromising him. He's got a minute left on the clock to put one in. So slots past his dad now. Takes the lead. This lap. Taking all of that curb. Like I say, it's just got to be careful it doesn't unsettle that mini and throw you out wide onto the grass. So 10 seconds left of this quali. Ollie O'Neill puts in his quickest. It's a 51.2. Keeps him in third though, unfortunately. So Pav then, he's going to keep that fourth lap, 50.8. Pot in second, 50.877. Ollie O'Neill in third then with that last 51.0. Cut the fourth. His fastest lap was from the previous stint, so it's not on there. He's putting in consistent 51s. His fastest being a 51.373. So Scarwall's 5th, ADG in 6th. Simon O'Neill 7th, Bigsy 8th. Bigsy needs to get himself out of the pits really. He is, so tyres on for Bigsy, he's coming out. Conrad Racing 9th, Weiss 10th. Carter Boy needs to get himself out of the pits as well. So Carter Boy, unfortunately, his lap time won't stand now. So I think he was in 9th. Because he's left himself in the pits, I think he'll start at the back of the pack. He has, he's sitting at the back. So Pav on P1 then, Potter in P2, Ollie O'Neill P3, Cutler P4, Scarwalls in 5th, ADG 6th, Simon O'Neill 7th, Bigsy in 8th, Conrad in 9th, Weiss in 10th, and yeah, Carter Boy at the back of the pack. So, worst view ever, PlayStation. It's the rear end of a Mini. Come on. Change up. Damn you. Here we go. So Pav leads us away then up towards turn 1. He's already chucked himself over to the left to try and keep it a little bit defensive. There's going to be a melee of cars coming through here. Let's go on for a bit of action from Weiss's perspective. We can see all these Minis just side by side as they head down this bit of a straight towards these wiggles. clean through so far. A little bit of bumping and barging from Bigsy and Carter Boy. Looks like Weiss has got the inside line on Bigsy as well through there. Cutler's been compromised. That's slowed him down. A little bit of contact between him and contact into that last turn. So where have you gone? Ollie O'Neill out in front then has managed to sneak through. He's taken Potomac Pot over to second. Pav looks like he's been caught up in that melee. So just let it all calm down a bit. We'll get back into some kind of order. Ollie O'Neill then holding P1 into lap 2. Potomac Pot in second. Scarwall's third, being hounded by ADG and Pav though. He's getting a bit of an MRC tactical pit manoeuvre going on here with Potter in front, Pav and ADG surrounding him. Scarwall's holding that third position though. Pav and ADG now battling it out for fourth into this awkward hairpin. Again, trying to run it side by side through there. It's a difficult corner to get right. Scarwalls has got it all wrong through there, taking completely the wrong line through the last turn. He's knocked into Pav. There's contact behind as well. I think there was a little bit of contact between Weiss and Cutler. Or was it Weiss and Conrad? It might have been Conrad. He's running slow through that last turn. Simon O'Neill and him now battling it out for that last position. Ollie O'Neill comfortably out front, 2.4 second lead at the minute. ADG's left the room, that's a shame. Potomac Pot then trying to close down on P1 Ollie O'Neill. Bit of work to do at the minute. He's got breathing room behind though, 1.7 back to Scarwalls. He's managed to hold on to that third. Bigsy's managed to pop himself through into fourth, not sure where he's done that. Pav now looking down the inside of Bigsy into this hairpin. Can he get it through his last turn? He does hold on to it, so Bigsy pushed back down into fifth. Scarwalls has done exactly what I thought someone would do. He's ended up hitting the pit wall on the exit of the last turn. And that's put him down into sixth now. He was in third. Actually slowed him down that much. He didn't sort of ping him round. So that puts him down in seventh. He's battling it out with Cutler down into the squiggles. We've got Weiss up into eighth. Now Simon O'Neill and Conrad racing. Slowly closing in on that battle in front. Unfortunately, we've lost ADG. So Ollie O'Neill extending out front then. He was 2.6 back now to 2.4. 2.7, 2.6. Can Potomac Pot close that gap? It's back down to 2.4. Ollie O'Neill with the fastest lap of the race currently. We are only on lap 5 though. 51.0 in this is fastest. So Pav then back up into third spot. So he's got 2.5 seconds himself to try and catch up with Potomac Pot. Bigsy back up into fourth then after Scarwall's little indiscretion into the wall. He's 1.3 back from Pav, a bit of work to do. He's got to try and fend off Carter Boy behind and Scarwalls as well. Carter Boy not having a bad start though, he was at the back of the pack as we know. Oh, there's contact between him and Scarwalls. Scarwalls just out braking himself and getting a bit of a punterama to Carter Boy. He's backed off though, giving that position back. But that's now put him under all sorts of pressure from Weiss for that sixth position. Weiss in seventh currently. Let's see if he goes for a move into this first turn. He's chucked himself down the inside. Get a little bit of contact between those two minis. Nothing too dramatic, both keeping it in a straight line. Now side by side as they head down the hill. Simon O'Neill slowly closing up on that fight as well. Got Conrad racing now 2 seconds back and Cutler now at the back of the pack. 1.7 down. So not a great race one for Cutler currently. 5 minutes in, 10 left. So Ollie O'Neill then had that gap reduced down to 1.5 seconds. Potomac Pot on a fly-in now. He's pulling Pav with him though. Pav's managed to keep the 2.5 second gap. So maybe Ollie O'Neill just not quite as fast through the last sector as Potomac Pot and Pav. It is a little bit awkward. back to 1.4. Puff still 2.4 back. Bigsy's managed to make, he's still got a bit of a gap back to Carter Boy in 5th. Let's go for a bit of on board with Carter Boy as he's being hounded by Scar Wars. Oh, Simon O'Neill in the background's got the last turn, or sorry, the last right-hander. Oh, and so Scar Wars, not sure what's happened there. Scar Wars getting it all wrong. And Simon O'Neill, what happened to Scar Wars? It's almost like the back end of that mini just let go and fired him off into the grass. So he's now down at the back of the pack after that. Who knows whatever happened. But we did see Simon O'Neill getting that last left-hander completely wrong. He chucked himself up into the barriers and on the grass. Still in 7th though. Oh, sorry, 6th. What was I looking at? Come on. Yeah, Simon chucking it into the barriers at the end of this straight here. Just now breaking himself over the hill. He's learning his lesson this time. So let's go and have a look and see what's happening up front. Ollie O'Neill then coming under more pressure from Potter McPot. That gap down to 0.7 seconds. Still pulling Pav along a little bit, 2.8 seconds the gap there though, so Potter McPot piling the pressure on. Gap coming down still, 0.6 of a second, 0.5 of a second. So still 2.8 between Potter and Pav. I just want to stick with this. I think Potter's going to make a move at any point. He's putting in purple sectors as well while on the hunt. So goes for a little look down the inside into this left-hander. Just has to relinquish that place back to Ollie, but Ollie's gone a little bit deep into the hairpin. Potter's side by side as they come through this last turn. Potter will get a good drive out. So they are going to be side by side, but Potter's got the drive, as you can see. Ollie's just going to have to slot in behind. Potter did have the drive out of that last corner. Ollie O'Neill just a little bit slower through the line he took. So Potter takes that lead then. Ollie O'Neill's right there with him. See Pav in the background just coming through turn 1. So can Potter start breaking away from Ollie O'Neill? Is Ollie O'Neill slightly more comfortable following someone through here? I know I am in some circumstances on some tracks. So Ollie and Potter through there cleanly. Ollie closing back up again. He's run himself deep into that hairpin again though. Potter holds onto the lead then, chucks himself over to the right hand side of the track, trying to drop Ollie O'Neill from having a tow. Pav slowly closing in though, 2.3 seconds back. 6 minutes remaining. Bigsy up into 4th, Carter Boy 5th, Simon O'Neill 6th, then Conrad Racing 7th, Cutler now up into 8th, Weiss 9th. Scar Wars after whatever that was, he's in 10th. He's slowly closing in on Weiss though, so maybe a position still to be had for Scar Wars. Yeah, that gap come right down now, 1.2 seconds below a second now, so he's slowly closing in on Weiss in front. Potter McPot in the meantime still being hounded by Ollie O'Neill for that P1 position, which he's just taken off him on lap 8. Is again slowly closing in, 2.1 seconds. Cliche, evening brother. Just losing a bit more time there, Pav, but you can see he's visibly closer to the fight between Potter and Ollie. Potter does look comfortable on this track. Just starting to get the hang of that last hairpin. It is an awkward turn. This track is backwards from its usual configuration. So the 2 denotes on the centre 2 in the description. So you would actually be coming the other way around this track. So Potter, McPott and Ollie O'Neill then still bolted to each other. Pav still got that 2.1 seconds, unable to close in at the minute. BC then 3.8 seconds back in fourth. Carterboy closing up on him, no less than a second between those two. Then big gap, 4.5 seconds back to sixth place. Simon O'Neill's managed to make a break himself, so he's got a few seconds either side of him. NGR Cutler up into seventh, getting past Conrad Racing and Weiss. So we've just come to this battle between Weiss and Scar Wars. Scar Wars was closing in on Weiss, a little bit of contact between those two, but Scar Wars winning out in that battle. Takes that ninth position off of Weiss. Weiss is going for a lunge down the inside into that left-hander, not quite able to make that one work. But if he sticks with Scar Wars, he might be able to get a good enough toe to take him at turn one. Scar Wars trying to drop him from that toe as well. Holding on to ninth then. He's going up deep into that turn. Weiss goes for a move down the inside. I didn't quite see how deep Scar Wars had gone initially. That just opened up the door for Weiss to come sneaking back through. So it's still on between Scar Wars and Weiss then. Let's check back what's going on at the front. Potts managed to pull just under half a second. So slowly chipping away and eking out a bit of time between himself and Ollie O'Neill. Ollie O'Neill sliding that mini sideways into that first turn. Pot pulling a little bit more time due to that. So he's got just about 0.6 of a second now. Ollie O'Neill still comfortable from Pav from behind, 2.4 seconds. 2.5 minutes remaining of this race, so Bigsy in fourth, coming under loads of pressure now for that position from Carterboy. Might see a move come the end of this race between these two. Simon O'Neill, so still out on his own a little bit, 4.5 to Carterboy in front, 5.5 back to NGR Cutler. Cutler now being hounded. Conrad wants that seventh position back. He's got a little bit of penalty he's got to lose. Got to buff out those dents for race 2 as well. So Scar Wars 9th, he's got back past Weiss then. He's got a big old gap as well, so maybe Weiss coming off track. He does look like he's got all sorts of dents on that mini as well. So 1.5 minutes remaining. Potter McPott still leading this race. He's managed to take it off Ollie O'Neill in about lap 8, lap 9, I believe. It was possibly lap 9. But he was all over Ollie O'Neill in lap 8. As you can see, that's the fastest lap of the race in the minute, 50.8. So a minute left. Ollie O'Neill going for a audacious move down the inside, not quite able to close quite in on Potter. 0.3 of a second still between these two. They should get across the line for another lap as well, so they'll still have a good battle. Pav still 2.1 seconds back. Bigsy, he's managed to hold off Carterboy at the minute. Simon O'Neill still out on his own. Conrad and Cutler, as I said, fighting it out for that position. Conrad's going to have the inside line through there, so keeps that one. Oh no, Cutler's swept down the inside and took it back off him. So still on for 7th position as well. Now Scar Wars out on his own, and Weiss all on his own at the back. So Potter McPott then. 10 seconds left on the clock. Potter's just got to fend off Ollie O'Neill for one more lap. He's a little bit closer this lap, is Ollie. Potter might have to go defensive in the last couple of turns. So closing in again, Ollie. He's all over Potter around that left-hander into the hairpin. Potter comes over to the left-hand side to go defensive. Blocks off the attack from Ollie O'Neill. So around the last turn. I don't think Ollie O'Neill's got the speed or the drag to get across the line before Potter. So Potter's going to come across the line, take the win. A little little bit of a jink from him. Ollie O'Neill second. Pav is backwards across the line in third. Bigsy fourth. Carter Boy fifth. Simon O'Neill coming home in sixth then. Cutler keeping that place from Conrad. Yes, he does. Comes home seventh. Conrad in eighth. Scarwell's already crossed the line in ninth. And Weiss in 10th. Yeah, we lost a driver in that one. Yeah, getting a bit intense there at the end. So that's race one done. We've got a few minutes break, then we jump into a reverse grid race. Race two. We've got cars drifting sideways across the track. Interesting. That will be a 30-minute race. Like I say, reverse grid. Tyre and fuel wear. Fuel and tyre wear will be on. So strategy more important. Well, strategy for starters, not just 15 minutes of thrashing those minis. Poor things. But they're all sitting in the pits ticking as they cool down. I know it's only a game. So yeah, Ollie O'Neill, he led that one for a fair old chunk. Managed to have about 2.5 second lead. Bottom at Pot slowly closed him in though. Managed to get him. Taking a win for Potter. Yeah, it was a bit bumpy through that last turn. I didn't quite see what was going on. There was far too many minis spinning backwards, going off track to actually see. Sometimes it would be nice. PlayStation, listen. Gran Turismo 7. What would be nice is just to have an off-board camera that's just pointing at the corner and not the car specifically. Because although it's got the cinematic camera, it is always focusing on one car in particular. It won't focus on a particular corner or anything like that. Just reading the chat in the... A few people not happy with the bumping. As to be expected. We do try and promote clean racing in these lobbies. It's not always possible though. Everyone does like to fight it out for position. And the physics not quite as, you know, nailed as people think they might be. Not the people that play it, obviously, we kind of know. So it can only take a little tap and, you know, you're off track. And you know full well that in real life that wouldn't be happening. So yeah, a few minutes wait and then we jump into race two. I'd expect about 1/4 past. So reverse grid, same track. Ultimate Pot enjoying that one at least. He had a good old fight with Ollie O'Neill. Wonder if Ollie thought he'd got that in the bag. He had such a big chunk of a lead at the start. Just managing to get himself out front, not have to make any defensive moves early on. But Ultimate Pot slowly closed him in. Sneak past him about, like I say, about lap 8. But Ollie did stick with him for the rest of the race, so it's not as if, you know, Ollie just had a bit of a sneaky one and managed to get off. Like I say, he's got the pace. He managed to sit with Potter for the rest of the race. So, settings for race 2 then. Like I say, reverse grid. So they can use any tyres between super softs and the hards. Tyre wear is set at times 10 and fuel depletion is times 5. They do only start with 70 litres of fuel though. So they will have to pit earlier than expected. But with these short tracks, you might be able to sneak 1 or 2 extra little laps out, depending who's brave enough or not. So, Chocolate Cozzy, if you're still listening, is there any sort of sign of your racing getting back on track at any point this year? Or have they like knocked it on the head till next year? What's going on with the old racing this year? I want some. Might be able to squeeze a bit of karting out, a push. I need to know what's happening at Donny and all the rest of it. What's going on? You're in the know. Connor, evening mate, how you doing? Cheers buddy, thank you very much. Come on Chocolate Cozzy, spill the beans. When the opening of the racetracks again. You know what? I nearly bought a season ticket to Donny this year. Nearly bought it. Glad I didn't. I'm sure they would have honoured it for next season or something, but still. Just thought of shelling all of that money out. There you go. You might have already done it, Chocolate Cozzy, who knows? Might have shelled out for a year's worth of racing. That's not for me to say, Connor. It's not like you actually. Yeah, you're usually giving it a good old smashing around at the front. What's going on? Putting Cutler under some pressure. Ollie O'Neill just popping up in the chat saying he's got to wipe himself down after that. He's sweated so much trying to fend off Potter for so long and then stick with him. So he has to towel himself dry. Racing with a broken wheel. What? That's no good. What's broke? Does it not steer left or something? It must steer left. There's a left-hand turn. It doesn't turn properly and throws me off track. That's a bit random. Try to yank in the lead out while it's on. Now, that might sound a bit dodgy, but I did that to my T500 and it worked. Got the old red mist on when it was just playing up. It's also had an aftermarket fan jammed on top to keep it cool, because the T500s are known to overheat. Not by me, I'll have you know. It was that man there in this lobby, Potter McPot 79, good friend of mine. Drops feedback mid-corner. What wheel is it? Is it a Thrustmaster? It might need the fan mod, because when I don't turn my fan on, my extra fan, the wheel kind of goes, how can I describe it? Kind of light, like the force feedback doesn't kind of care. It's like, yeah, I'll give you some resistance and I'll push back a little bit, but yeah, I'm not, yeah. Yeah, might need that fan mod, mate. If it's a Thrustmaster, like I say. There you go, T300. Yeah, I've got a big old computer fan. It's not pretty, it's not all RGB'd or anything, it's just a great big unking fan. At Potter McPotter's, well, I can only describe it as duct taped, chopped a hole out the top of the T500 and duct taped to the top with all sorts of dodgy connectors, but it works. It works. And it's a known fault that they overheat. Not so sure about the T300s, but I know the T500s do, and I'm sure they're very similar internals, really. Someone getting it all wrong through the squiggles. You're not on. I'll take a photo of it, Connor, and I'll chuck it on the group of the great big unkin fan sat on the top. That Potter will go, I did that. I'm going to do it now, right now. Watch. Unkin fan. G29, yeah, a lot of people say the G29's a pretty good wheel. I've not had a go with one myself, or have I? No, I don't think I have, you know. It's been a T300, T500, and I've played on Potter McPot's Fanatec. Oh, I'll tell you what I have played on. Stu Law's Fanatec. Oh, direct drive. Oh, the wheel is, everything about it. The switches, the shifts, the shift paddles. It's like, it's gorgeous. But it'd tear my epoxy hand-built rig to bits. Right, I think we're just about to get the race underway as we see Cutler ghosting out. It's a good job I stopped talking and paid attention to the chat, because Cutler's just asking everyone to get in the room. So you may have missed the start of that if I wasn't paying attention. You lucky lot. I'm assuming Chocolate Cozzy is not in the room or not listening. I've got the sound down or something. He's not telling me when Donington's open again. Yeah, listen to Tommy. Get it fixed, Conrad. Right, that's what he, look, you've not got time now, but I've posted up a picture on the group. There you go. Blam. Wow. That's the reply from Conrad. Yeah, it's a beast, isn't it? Like I say, not my doing. You can blame Potter McPot for the aesthetics. I'd have had unicorn vomit all over it. So Weiss is going to lead us away. You're giving me this crappy view again, PlayStation. That's better. A little bit at least. Can't see the lights, but Weiss is going to lead us away. Then Scarwall's in second, Conrad third, Cutler in fourth, Simon O'Neill fifth, Carter Boy sixth, Bigsy in seventh, and Pav. Oh, looks like Scarwalls has not had a great start. What's happened to Scarwalls? Yeah, he looks like he's stuck on the grid. I don't know whether we're going to have a restart or not, or whether the rest of the lads are just going to avoid him. It looks like he's away now. Not too sure what happened there. Maybe Scarwall's maybe not quite ready for the start of this race, like myself. But now Weiss leading us through the wiggles then. Conrad racing into second, Simon O'Neill third, Cutler still fourth, Bigsy fifth. Oh, he's run himself deep though. Bigsy now down in eighth position. Oh, there's a little bit of contact through that hairpin again. It's an awkward corner with so many cars trying to get through it at once. But it's not too bad. Conrad racing getting a big old clatter though. He's now down in ninth position. So not a Great start for Conrod's race, and here's Scar Wars. He's got damage, chucks himself back into the pits. So again, not sure what's going on with Scar Wars in race 2, but White still leading. Simon O'Neill second now, Cutler third, Cutler now second, pushing his way through. He's got Potter and Pop hounding these two as well already. So going from right at the back, looking to fourth already for Potter. He's getting past Cutler. Cutler's ghosting out there. He's just unghosted. Completely the wrong time. So is Potter Pot already going to sneak up into second position? He does. Simon has to slot into third. Cutler into fourth then. O'Neill now fifth. Second place in race 1. Bigsy sixth after his little bit of off-track action. Carter Boy in seventh. Conrad in eighth after his little bit of off-track action as well, getting clattered into that hairpin at the end of the first lap. Pav now ninth, trying to pile the pressure on the two drivers in front, and then Scar Wars. He's back out of the pits. 30 seconds back though. A lot of work to do for Scar Wars to get back into this race. So I'm interested to find out what Scar Wars' issue was. Like I say, whether he was just not ready for the start of this one. We'll see how he gets on. He's closing in already a little bit, 29.2 seconds gap. But now Wise coming under pressure. Potts trying to make a way past. Wise going defensive into turn 1. Which way is Potter gone? He's gone deep for the switchback, side by side on the exit. Potter McPot then sneaking through, taking that position. That was a good bit of driving by Potter McPot. White has to drop into second then. Simon O'Neill holds on to third. NGR Cutler fourth. Purple sector for Cutler though. And O'Neill fifth. So again, he's looking to fight his way through early on. Bigsy's run himself deep through that turn again. Still holds on to that sixth, but loses time to Ollie. Falls into the clutches of Pav 46. Pav getting past Conrad now. So Pav up into 7th. Conrad 8th. Carter Boy 9th. And now 26 seconds back in Scar Wars. So he is closing in on 1 or 2 drivers in front. So Potter McPot taking that lead then. Wise trying to stick with him. 0.6 of a second gap between those two at the minute. Simon O'Neill slowly closing in on Wise though. A little bit of a penalty to drop. So Cutler slowly closing in on that podium fight at the minute. Ollie O'Neill pretty close as well. Still in contention, so the top 5 still pretty close together. Only 1.8 between them. And there's a bit of a gap back to 6th place Bigsy. 3 seconds back to Bigsy. He's got Pav slowly closing in on him. He's dragging Conrad with him. Conrad's not let that position go yet. So Conrad's slowly closing in down the straight. I don't think he's close enough to make a lunge into T1. He doesn't, decides to stick with Pav. Gain the toe. You can see Pav's closing in on Bigsy in front. So rather than battle it out, just let Pav do his thing. Try and sit with him, gain the toe. So Carter Boy 9th then. He's got a bit of a gap either side of him, 2.9 in front of that fight, and now 25.7 seconds back to Scar Wars. So he's slowly closing in. Potter McPot then extending. He's now 2.4 seconds over second place Simon O'Neill, who's managed to get past Wise, as has Cutler. Cutler up into third. O'Neill now fighting it out for that 4th position off Wise as well. He's got the inside line into turn 1. Down the inside then, side by side through Wise, with Wise through there. Again, side by side on the exit. He's going to win out through the squiggles. Wise takes the lead at the minute. Holds on to that 4th. Oh, he's run himself wide though. That's just allowed Ollie O'Neill to sneak through. Wise is back on track though. So he didn't go spinning off anywhere. Losing that position to Ollie O'Neill then. losing all sorts of time as well there. You can see how much of a gap he's pulled already over Weiss. So up into fourth then for Ollie. Now trying to put the pressure on Simon O'Neill. Simon O'Neill going deep into turn one, puts a wheel on the grass. That allows Weiss to sneak back through up into fifth. And now Pav putting the pressure on Simon O'Neill, coming slowly out of turn one. Pav's going to come past and take that fifth position now. We've got Bigsy and Conrad behind as well. They'll be coming at full race pace. Simon O'Neill should be pretty much there by now. So Bigsy manages to keep it on track through there, but he goes for a move down the inside of Simon O'Neill, goes a bit deep through the hairpin. That just allows Simon to come back, chop his nose off as he comes through that final turn, holds on to sixth position at the minute, does Simon. Bigsy and Conrad now side by side as they head at the start-finish straight, trying to battle it out for seventh. Bigsy's just in front, but Conrad's going to have the inside line. So through into seventh then for Conrad, pushes Bigsy down a spot. There's a big gaggle of minis waiting to be overtaken in front. Carter Boy in the pits already then, out on a fresh set of racing softs. 7.5 minutes into this one. Scar Wars then, so he's closing in on Carter Boy due to that pit stop. His racing softs looking pretty beaten up though, so he'll have to stop, get those changed at some point soon. Pot also out on the softs, holding quarter of a tank. 2.7 lead over now second place Cutler. Cutler also very similar position, quarter of a tank, very similar tyre wear. O'Neill slightly less fuel. So Weiss fourth then, Pav slowly closing in on that fourth position. Managing to get past Conrad and Bigsy earlier on. Simon O'Neill getting it all wrong now, down in eighth position after that off-track action. Carter Boy back out the pits on a fresh set of racing softs. He went mediums first stint. They were about half worn when he came in. You can see the other drivers are putting about 10 laps on at the minute. So Cutler now in the pits. So he comes in on the softs, first of the racing softs to come in. Pot looks like he's pushing the limit of these softs. Ollie O'Neill. So Weiss still in third, Pav fourth. So now they all slot back in after everyone's had their pit stops. Conrad up into fifth then. Bigsy sixth. Simon O'Neill seventh. So Cutler on the fresh tyres. Just flick to Simon, he's been in the pits then, he's coming for a fresh set of racing softs. Pot in the pits now. We'll see where he comes out if he manages to keep his gap from NGR Cutler. Cutler closing in on the racing super softs. It'll be interesting to see how long they last as well. There's not actually that many turns to this track. They are all pretty brutal on these minis. So Cutler up into sixth then, Carter Boy seventh. Bigsy in the pits now, so gets rid of those beaten up softs, goes onto a set of mediums. Scar Wars in 10th. I think that's Potter and Pot, just, guys, no, sorry, it's Pav 46 just coming through in second. So Ollie O'Neill comes into the pits now. I think Pav's following him in. Conrad in as well. Potter Pot then just coming through the last turn. So he'll regain the lead of this race. There it goes. Simon O'Neill comes through as well on his fresh set of racing softs. He's just holding about just over a quarter of a tank. Cutler third then in those super softs. Carter Boy up into fourth with the early stop. Pav up into 5th then, also out on a fresh set of racing softs. Weiss on the super softs as well, 3/4 of a tank he's decided to chuck in. Conrad racing out on a set of mediums. He's got just over half a tank. Ollie O'Neill been in, fresh set of racing mediums. Full tank he's gone for. Big C in 9th. Just over half a tank, fresh set of racing mediums. And Scarwall's now been in. He's gone for the halves. Almost a full tank. He's back up to a 30-second deficit between himself and 9th. So back to Scarwall, see what's going on later on in the race. So Potomac Pop then, still out front, 2.1 second lead. So it's just extended to 2.8. Simon O'Neill getting turn 1 a little bit wrong then. Losing a bit of time. He's coming under increased pressure from NGR Cutler in 3rd. Exit of turn 1, just compromising his speed down this long straight. I say straight, it's got a couple of little kinks in it. It's pretty much all out. So closing right in then, Cutler going a bit deep through that hairpin though. Awkward little section to get right at speed. As I say, it's easier coming the other way. I'll say that, it's chaos on turn 1, lap 1. Regardless of which way round you race this track. Cutler is slowly closing in on Simon O'Neill. Oh, he's losing a bit of time through there. So again, Simon just not quite getting that last turn right. I mean, Cutler just clipped the wall as well. He does seem to lose a lot of time in there, Simon. So the wear starting to come into those super softs already. Not tighter through there this time for NGR Cutler. He's gone deep through there. He's clipped the wall. He's clipped the wall. That's exactly what I thought. Said it in race 1. Someone did it, and then Cutler's just done it in race 2. So that's put him out of the fight with Simon O'Neill for now. He's 4.5 seconds almost between himself and Simon. Now that puts him under pressure from Pav 46 behind, only 1.3 seconds back now. He's got front end damage on that car as well, has NGR Cutler. That's going to slow him down a little bit, allow Pav to catch up. See 1.3 seconds, just holding on to that at the minute. So damage now repaired. It is only set on light, so it does repair itself. Pav going a little bit deep in that left-hander. Still able to close in on Cutler nonetheless. That gap down to less than a second now between Pav and Cutler. Cutler taking it easy through that turn. Doesn't want another repeat into that pit wall. So Weiss holding on to 4th at the minute, although he's got Conrad racing, Ollie O'Neill and Big Z chasing him down for that position. He chucks himself over to the left-hand side, goes a bit defensive. Ollie O'Neill goes for a move down the inside. He's had to back out of that one. But Conrad's gone for a lunge down the inside. He's got that position done. Ollie O'Neill's managed to sneak down the inside of Weiss as well. Big Z not quite able to take advantage. There, Weiss, although he's going for a bit of a move on Ollie. No, I thought he was taking an outside line through this turn. A little bit of contact between Big Z and Weiss, but it was a clean move. He left plenty of space on track. He's coming back at him as well. Neck and neck as they head up this start-finish straight. Big Z is currently holding on to that position. He's got the inside line as well. Conrad and Ollie still fighting this one out for 4th currently. Big Z and Weiss still side by side then. Good battles brewing here. Simon O'Neill, he's just been in the pit again. Fresh set of racing softs, half a tank. So again, having a race of his own in race 2. 6-7 seconds in front to Weiss. And 10 seconds back to Carter Boy. Boy now on a fresh set of racing super softs. Scarwell's still on those hards. 23 seconds down. So Potomac Pot on the softs. 9.3 second lead he's got currently. Quite comfortable. NGR Cutler here will have to come in at a lap or two, but those super softs are absolutely battered. It wouldn't surprise me if we see him at the end of this lap. So he's lost all sorts of time to Potomac Pot. And now Pav's managed to catch up and get past him as well. Pav's on the worn out set of softs, whereas Cutler's on the worn out super softs and holding no fuel as well. He's going to go for one extra lap though, is Cutler. A little bit of a look down the inside of Pav. I think Pav's tyres are just going to hold out a little bit better than Cutler's in third. So Ollie O'Neill then up into fourth, got past Conrad. Conrad holding on to fifth currently. Got Weiss and Bigsy still side by side battling out for this sixth position. Got Simon O'Neill slowly closing up with these two as well, 2.1 seconds the gap there. Boy just getting turn one a little bit wrong. So he's got 12 seconds to try and make up on Simon. We've got 12 minutes remaining on the clock. Scar Wars still 27 seconds, 28 seconds back. Looking for a bit of a toe off Pav as well. Potomac Pot extending 10.4 second lead currently. Worn out set of racing softs. His fuel tank just flashing over to red. He's still got a couple of laps left in that though. So Pav in second, Ollie O'Neill third, Conrad in fourth. I think he missed a couple in the pits. Oh, Driftertronic for Conrad. Trying to battle it out with Ollie O'Neill for that third position. I think Cutler's been in the pits. Yes, he has. So he's ditched those super softs and come in for a fresh set of softs. He's put some fuel in that thirsty tank as well. So should now have enough fuel to go to the end of the race. Then 4 seconds back. We'll have to he might have to stick a set of tyres on before the end of this race. He's got plenty of fuel on board. Super softs maybe not last until the end of this one. No worry for Scar Wars behind really. He's still 30 seconds back. Trying to drop penalties as well. And the hards just compromising his speed in turning capabilities into these corners. We've got Potter in the pits, we've got Pav in the pits. Just taking on the fuel. Pav just landing in the pits now, so Potter's way in front. Positions to some of the other drivers at the minute. Still got 10 minutes left. So Potomac Pot comes out the pits in fourth. He's got Simon O'Neill under a second in front at the minute. Conrad just in front of him with a second, and Ollie O'Neill now 1.4 seconds out from. All three of these drivers may have to come in for a set of tyres. Simon might try and stretch this one out. We'll see what Potomac Pot can do if he can get back up into that P1 position. So Bigsy's going to have to come in as well. Those tyres are looking very worn out. So he comes in now then. Conrad's already in the pits. Carter Boy in sixth now, through the pits. Like I say, he'll probably have to change those super softs before the end of this race. Weiss in seventh then for a set of racing super softs. He might run to the end on those. makes it out of the pits, closely followed by Conrad then. And Scar Wars now 46 seconds back. Still holding penalties as well for Scar Wars. So Ollie O'Neill still holding race lead, 1.6 seconds over Simon O'Neill. We've got Potter McPot right on his rear bumper though, putting the pressure on down this start-finish straight. So does Simon go defensive? Does Potter go for a move? He's not able to do it. He's just had to back out of that one. He'll have to leave it till... Oh, he's gone for a bit of an inside move on turn one. Simon did leave the door open. There was a little bit of contact between the two. Potter McPot through now into second. And now on the hunt for Ollie O'Neill in front. 1.1 seconds the gap there. 8 minutes left on the clock. It's a good battle in race one between these pair. This pair, these two, that's what I was trying to say, one of those. So Ollie O'Neill then coming under all sorts of pressure from Potter McPot. Potter McPot might do a father and son 1-2 here. Goes for the move down the inside on, and again just backs out of it on Ollie O'Neill. Not able to get the slingshot down the inside, but he is right on the, he does now. O'Neill's exit compromise, that's allowed Potter McPot to run side by side, takes the lead now then Potter. On that fresh set of racing softs, still got just under half a tank. 7 minutes left on the clock. 0.3 of a second back for Ollie O'Neill. Simon O'Neill just 0.3 of a second back as well, but he's going to have to come in for fuel and tyres. That's going to chuck him right out of this fight. Please be looking at your fuel gauge, Simon. Ollie O'Neill comes in as well, so yeah, he's going to change those mediums. Try and hold on to a couple of these positions. So what we've got, 6.5 minutes remaining. Potter McPot now got an 8.7 second lead over second place NGR Cutler. Pav then down into third. So is he able to close up on Cutler in front? What's the gap at the minute? 0.9 of a second. He's slowly closing in through this squiggly section around the back half of the track. Closing in massively through there then. Going down to 0.6 of a second, gaining 0.3 of a second down that one little section. Through the hairpin into this right-hander. That's where we saw Cutler clatter into the wall on a lap or two ago. About 5 or 6 laps ago, but he did anyway. So gap coming down again, 0.5 of a second, 0.4 of a second. It's on between Cutler and Pav. So Pav's tyres, I think Pav's going to run to the end on those. Let's just flick up to NGR Cutler's. His soft's looking a little bit better than Pav's. Pav trying to run side by side with him through there, not quite able to do it. Piling the pressure on Cutler now. Cutler having to go defensive through this left-hander. Does he sling it over to the left for the hairpin? It does. Doesn't leave the door open. Pav not able to fire himself down the inside, but he's got a better drive out of this last turn. You can see how much he's closing in on Cutler already. So it goes to the outside. Does he get the pass? Goes past NGR Cutler, he's got the nose in front, they are side by side. Cutler's got the inside line, so he's just going to keep that position. Can Pav run it back down the inside for the position? Cutler knows exactly where to put his car. So Pav got the pulling power down here though, but Cutler now again side by side, these two drivers. It's a real good fight for second place here, although Pav's gone for a wicked move through the last left-hander, sneaking up the inside there, taking that second off of NGR Cutler, although where's Cutler down the inside into the last turn. Little bit of contact between those two drivers, kept it clean still. Pav has got the drive. Cutler's just going to have to tuck himself into the slipstream there. Really good battle for second place between Pav and Cutler there. not over yet. We've still got just over 3.5 minutes remaining. We've got Ollie O'Neill slowly closing in on this fight as well. So it could become a three-way battle before the end of this race. Ollie O'Neill closing in loads through that last turn. But Pav just managed to squeak out a little bit of time from Cutler. Cutler backing off through the braking zone. Ollie O'Neill's car whiffing sideways under braking. Trying to go for a move down the inside of Cutler again. Cutler still holding on to third though. Ollie O'Neill's putting the pressure on him, but Pav's able to pull down the road a little bit. He's got 0.8 of a second lead at the minute. He's not got a lot of chance of catching Potter McPot in front. 3 minutes left on the clock. 12-second gap between Pav and Potter. But it's on between Ollie O'Neill and Cutler. Cutler's run deep into turn one. Ollie O'Neill's through, then takes that third position. So Cutler's got 2 minutes 40 seconds to try and get that position back. Let's go and have a quick flick through the pack. So Potter McPot leading then, 12.1 seconds. Comfortably at the minute. His softs are looking pretty beaten up, and he's only got about 2.5, 3 laps to go. Pav into second then. Ollie O'Neill has got through, taking that third place off of Cutler. And he's now piling the pressure on Pav for that second position. So Pav's coming in for those, change those softs then. That's unfortunate. I thought he was going to go for another 2 laps on those. Cutler's come in as well. So Potter McPot, 12.6 seconds his lead. Ollie O'Neill second then. Simon O'Neill now 4.9 seconds back. Conrad Racing. Sorry, what's happened there? Scar Wars, sorry. It was Scar Wars behind Simon O'Neill. Flicked to a different driver. I wonder what was going on. But Pav has managed to get back out of the pits in front of Conrad Racing. Cutler's managed to get past as well through turn one. So Conrad down into 6th then. Carter Boy 7th. Big C in 8th. Weiss in 9th. And Scar Wars just following Simon O'Neill round in 10th. So yeah, it'll be interesting to know what happened with Scar Wars at the start of this race. There's all sorts of things going on. Scar Wars braving it out for another lap. Not much fuel on board. I think he'll make it. Potter McPot then. A minute left on the clock. 12.3 second lead over Ollie O'Neill. His soft's looking absolutely brutalised at the minute. He's got enough fuel on board to do this lap, so he's only got to keep this in a straight line. It's almost 2 straight lines, a hairpin and a bit of a jink at the end, that's about it. So 12.3 seconds out in front at the minute currently. Ollie O'Neill still second, Simon third. Pav in 4th. Cutler's closed back up on him though, so he's still fighting it out for this 4th position until the end of this race. Will they get across the line? Cutler's come in the pits again. Oh, he's out of fuel. He forgot to fuel. So Carter Boy and Conrad Racing battling it out then. They're fighting it out for 5th position at the minute. Cutler back out the pits. He's put a blib of fuel in. Back out in 7th. Big Z 8th. He comes across the line then to finish. Weiss also comes across the line to finish. Tries a handbrake but ploughs it into the wall. And then Scar Wars is going to come home in 10th. But where's Potter McPot? He does come across the line. Sorry Potter, I missed you there. Take the win for Potter McPot. 2 races in a row for him. That's good points on the board. That should chuck him up above NGR Cutler. Ollie O'Neill throws his handbrake across the line to take second. Scar Wars got the last turn wrong. Simon O'Neill handbrakes it across the line for 3rd position. Pav 46 backwards across the line for 4th. Carter Boy holds on to that 5th position then. No handbrake from Carter Boy. No handbrake from Conrad Racing 6th. And Cutler coming across the line 7th. Bixie takes 8th. Sorry, not Conrad. Weiss 9th and Scar Wars 10th. So again, a little bit bumpy. Only at the very start, in is to be expected when... Yeah, what's going on here with these lobbies? Look, we've got cars drifting sideways across tracks. Very interesting. Yeah, when you've got sort of 10, 11 drivers trying to get through a tight little turn like you've just seen on track there, it does always end up in chaos. Yeah, the physics not quite right. Not quite right. So, that was round 3 of the CHewitt Racing Mini Cooper Cup, hosted by Next Gen. We'll be back at the same time next week for round 4. I forget where that's from. I forget where it's from. But I'm back tomorrow night for the Mini Challenge UK series. So that's real world drivers versus some of these drivers you'll see in this lobby tonight. So the CHewitt Racing drivers versus the real world Mini Challenge UK drivers. And then that's 8:30 tomorrow night, and then back Wednesday night for the Team versus Team GR3 event. That's also hosted by Next Gen, so that's 8:30 as well. And then we've got a great big special coming up on Saturday. I'm not sure what's happening streaming wise, commentary wise, if anything. I know I'm racing, so I don't know whether I'm streaming it or not. We're having a great big 4 or 5 hour race-a-thon with shenanigans and beer involved and stuff. So that's Saturday night. That's all for Baggy, Snails and Stewie Mack, who you may have seen in the P1 lobbies. Both of those boys have been through the old cancer treatment in the last year or so, couple of years. And the lads from MRC just wanted to do something to put a smile on their face. So one of the lads in Holland sent them a load of beer. And we're all having this great big race-a-thon on Saturday night for them as well, which is going to be a hoot. So I still don't know what's happening with that, but if I do find out, I'll let you know before it happens. And then Sunday night, back for the final round of the BMWs at 7:30. And then into round 10 of P1RC's GR3 League. That's at 9 o'clock on Sunday. So 2 on Sunday, 1 at 7:30 for the BMWs, and 1 at 9 o'clock for the GR3s. And then, yeah, back next Monday for the following round of this. What I would like to happen is NGR Cutler to change it to next week's track. And then I can tell you. But I don't know, because I haven't got it up in front of me. But yes, I hope you've liked what you watched. If you have, give us a like, give us a subscribe, all that sort of stuff. You know what's coming up in the weeks, in the next few days, sorry, with the racing, etc. So I'll pretty much leave it there. You know what's coming next. Tell your mates, tell your mum. My name's Dark Smoker. I'm out of here.